Welcome officially
Woo!
to
Yeah,
the Tides
let's
Talks
go.
podcast, baby. This is our first episode, and we have an exciting guest coming on the show. We'll be talking about mental health and substance abuse, and what's going on in the sporting world with everything. We've recently witnessed Ryan Garcia going on with some hardcore mental health issues and potential substance abuse. And I also believe it could be something even further, potentially a little bit of spiritual warfare involved as well. So we're going to get into some fun topics and discuss it all. And on the show today, we have an exciting guest. He is, as you can tell by the belts in front of you, he is the 3 times Australian champ. He's the WBC Muay Thai champ of Australia, the Eruption champ, and the WMO. And this is only just the beginning. He's gone through a bit of a rough patch recently, but no pain, no gain. And he's got a really exciting story to share, which is going to be witness and a testimony for a lot of people who may be struggling and going through these things themselves.
Yeah,
It's not just Ryan Garcia who goes through these things, it's pretty much everyone. And
yeah.
I feel like it's not talked about enough in the sporting industry. So it should be exciting. We got my co-host on as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chandu.
Cheer,
Yes,
Fano.
yes.
Good to be here. Good to
Yeah,
be here.
I-
Excited.
I'm glad you're here too.
Yeah,
We kicked this off about 2 weeks ago, and then my co-host went on holiday, so we've
yeah.
been
Balling. Just
yeah.
balling.
I've just been waiting for him to get back, really. But on the other end of the line, we have the Dingo. He has been fighting for maybe like 15 years. He moved to Thailand when he was like 15 and became an exceptional athlete over there. Has been fighting some of the most hardcore Thai fighters pretty much from day one. Like he got chucked in the deep end and he was fighting for survival against some of the best names in the Muay Thai industry, and then he worked his way all the way up. He ended up moving back to Australia and landing all these 3 belts. And yeah, it's exciting. There's potential for him to become a world champion very soon down the pipeline. So
Woo.
yeah, big congratulations. So I'm
Woo.
stoked. I'm stoked to have him on. And he's my cousin, actually, my blood, which makes me even more proud and even more excited to have him on and to let him share his story,
Mm.
which I'm sure you guys will all be very interested to hear. So, without more further ado, here he is, the Dingo. Welcome to the show, mate. How
Ring a
are
ding
ya?
ding.
The Dingo. Oh, yo, yo.
Hey, cuz.
Kurt,
What's
how are
going
we?
on?
Oh, just, working hard, hardly working. That's the aim of the game. Yeah, I just wanted to bring you on the show and give you the opportunity to share your story and what you've been going through. And I believe your story is a very powerful one, and it's going to help reach a lot of people who are going through these same issues as well. I guess we could get into your story. What about your childhood? Like, how was your upbringing, and how did you end up getting into Muay Thai? And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll start off with the basics.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had pretty much like the best of both worlds. Like my upbringing was mad. It was hectic. Born in Manly. Um, I was the only child, so I was pretty spoiled and everything. Got to travel the world a lot with my parents. And then as soon as I hit high school, I was just like real angry. Just always getting in fights, getting suspended like 3 times in year 7. Then got kicked out of that school. Went to another boys' school. Was just pretty much always with the boys, like older boys. Found myself with like the Tongans, Samoans, the Māoris. I was just like the white kid, just
Uh,
avoiding that. And then my parents split up when I was like 13. It was a pretty weird, like sort of breakup. Like they were still living together. Like my mom was downstairs, dad was upstairs, and then pretty much from there, like they split up. I ended up at that time, like my dad, he owned a motorbike factory, like classic motorbikes. We moved into the motorbike factory. We were living there. Not many people know this. I kept it a secret at high school. We were living in the second floor, and the deal was like we are gonna live there for a year, and then we're gonna like move overseas somewhere. and we did 3 trips to Thailand in 1 year. The first trip was like 1 week holiday, 1 week training. My dad ended up falling in love with the place. We're going to Simbi Muay Thai in Rawai in Phuket. Went back a second time, and I organised my first fight through them. So I was pretty much, they told me I had to run like 5 kilometers every morning and stuff. So I was getting up before school, going for a 5K run, go to school, check my name off, leave school with the boys, WAG school, go to a place called Youth Reach where we just like gym. There was a gym there and everything. And then when it was like about 3 p.m., go to the Muay Thai gym and train for like 2-3 hours. Went to Thailand, had my first fight. Came back to Australia, had 2 fights. And then December 29, 2012, me and my old man moved to Thailand. And that's pretty much like, just started, as you said, like straight in the deep end, just fighting. Like my first fight, like I was 15, I fought a 26-year-old. Like I just turned 27, so I pretty much fought someone like my age.
That's pretty
I was
crazy.
15. So yeah, but that's pretty much like a big summary to like how I got to Thailand and stuff like that. Yeah, like my upbringing.
So, like, moving to Thailand at such a young age must have been a significant change for you. How did that experience impact you both professionally and personally?
Thailand was crazy. Like it's the sex capital of the world, like pretty much. So I was like real innocent, like never had a girlfriend, never had like hung out with girls. My old man was just like single. Pretty much, he moved over there pretty much to like find a Thai wife. So yeah, in that regard, it was like I'll be walking down the streets, and it was just like chicks just running up to me, picking me up, lady boys picking me up, chucking me into the bar. My dad's sort of just playing along with it. Like when I was 15, so I lost my virginity when I was in Thailand. My dad,
Thanks for sharing.
That's all
yeah,
good.
but it's part of the story, you know, because like
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I go through these, like when I just can lose my mind sometimes, I can go like on like what I call them like sex sprees, because I kind of saw that happen with my old man. Like he say, well, I'm 15, I'm sober in the club because I had a fight coming up, and he's pretty much there, like picks out a prostitute for me, and he's like, there you go, do your thing, like make me proud. So that was like my introduction into like,
Was it like in his way? It's like it's time to be a man now. You go.
I guess so, yeah, I guess so. And so I was kind of, yeah, and still to this day, that was like the worst experience of my life. Like it was, I hated it.
Did you sort of want to live up to your dad's expectations? Like, oh, if I do this, then you know,
100%. Yeah, I was
yeah.
100. Yeah, 100%. We went from being like, I used to be so scared of my dad. He used to like sort of like beat me up a fair bit. Like, you know, he was real hard on me, especially I was a bad kid against suspension and stuff. To like go to Thailand, become like best friends instead of like father and son. More like a best friend um, sort of relationship.
Just having experiences with him, is
Yeah,
probably
yeah. And then like he would be in my corner for most of my fights. Like he'd be at the gym, see me train for fights. Like we were like proper team. Like it was pretty cool.
That's actually really cool. I guess when you get to a certain age and you get to like actually like hang out with your old man, not just like a son, but more like a friends, it's like a whole new level of relationship. I feel like, especially with your old man. So that's really cool to hear, bro.
Yeah.
Um, and like, how did that develop? Were you guys living together, or were you guys in different parts of Thailand? Or
We started off living together, and then pretty much I'd say like 3 months into my stay in Thailand, I got sponsored by Phuket Top Team. I was like the first Muay Thai fighter sponsored by them because they were more like an MMA gym. And then I got sponsored by them, and then they were still in Phuket, so I was still living with my dad. And then about like probably 4 to 6 months into that sponsorship, I had another gym like CM Boxing, which was owned by these two French brothers that lived in Thailand for like 15 years. And they were like the two best foreign fighters in the world. And they poached me from Phuket top team and took me on as a sponsored fighter. So I ended up moving to Bang Sapam, which was like 6 hours north of Phuket, and living with them at the gym, like in the bungalows, for like 2.5 years. So then that's when me and my dad separated, and he was just coming up to visit me and coming up for fights and stuff like that.
So, like, you've actually had a remarkable career as a fighter. What have been some of your highest highs and your lowest lows?
Oh, highs like 17, knocking down one of the best high fighters in the 8-man tournament just after fighting 20 minutes beforehand. I was pretty much known in the Muay Thai world after that. Like fighting on Thai Fight at 16, um, being like main event on all the Max Muay Thai shows and stuff, and like getting medals and stuff for that. Getting like fight of the night twice on both shows at Bokau. The best fighter and most famous fighter was headlining. Lowest lows, like my last fight, that was a tough one.
Mm.
That like was really tough. I was trying to remember like my last fight that I had in Thailand. That one was really tough too, because that's what sort of when I was flying back. That's what made me leave Thailand and come back to Australia, and like sort of like on the plane ride home, like I was just coming home with like just with a vengeance. It was just before COVID
Mm.
started as well, and I was just like was keen to just pretty much fuck shit up and just like run amok, because I had this fight on. They gave me like 1 week's notice, and I just had a concussion from training. I hadn't been training, and I had 15 kilos to lose. And I was just trying to tell them like, fuck, like it's a bit much. Like, can we just do it a bit later? And they pretty much like make you feel like a pussy if you don't do it. So I ended
Mm.
up losing 15 kilos in 5 days to make weight for this fight.
Wow.
And I was winning the fight and everything, but he hit me with a knee in the liver, and I just collapsed. And like it was on live TV, and I just felt like ashamed. And it was a big rematch as well that I'd already smashed this guy before. So
Mm.
like I just sort of felt pretty hard done by and just used and abused, and boom, bounced back to Australia.
When you were younger, like first coming up in the Muay Thai scene, what was your motivation um, going into fights and training at that younger age? Was it just determination, or like was there a
Oh, I
person
just wanted
up
to
there?
go on to Thailand. Like I was just mimicking the Thais. I just wanted to be a Thai fighter, covered in scars, like hard body, like feared. Like known for a big heart, because in Thailand it was all about Jai D, like showing heart.
Yeah.
And then so that was my motivation. I just wanted the Thais to know me as like having a big heart, um, known for like exciting fights, never quit, never back down, sort of like my ancestors. And then like that's sort of pretty much what happened. I got a face full of
Yeah.
scars.
Yeah.
Like,
And did that
people.
determination stay the same as well, like over the years?
Yeah, for sure. If anything, it's just gotten bigger. Like
Yeah.
I want more. I want to have the craziest fights, fight the best in the world, the biggest stages. Just yeah, still.
With the challenges, with addiction and mental health issues, would you be willing to share what led you to those struggles and how, I guess, you've been navigating through them as well?
Yeah. So going on that note of like me and my dad's relationship, I was about 17. He rolled me my first joint in Thailand, and then we were smoking weed together and that, and like next thing you know, he built me like a bong out of like PCX pipes. So
Oh
I
yeah,
was sort of just openly
what a
just
guy.
smoking while he was there and everything. And then I think even we done like coke together and stuff like that. Like so we done a lot of things together. And then when it came to him stopping the weed, like it was like yeah he could stop, and then me it was like I don't know how to. I've been smoking like
Mm.
10, 15 joints a day. Um, I'm sort of like addicted, and I don't know how to stop it. And I didn't know then, but I've had like a real bad ADHD, and so and also with the hard training and like a lot of the head knocks, like just smoking like a joint and stuff like that, it really helped. But it definitely like affected my mood, my motivation, my training, my weight cuts. Fuck, like definitely affected my weight cuts. So it made it real hard for myself. And so then, um, when I
Random
first,
question: would you like stop smoking weed? You know, like when you're addicted, would you stop smoking weed on the lead up to your fights, or would you just
sometimes no,
continue?
because sometimes I'd smoking weed before my fights. and,
Well,
and I'd
and
be
how old were you? Like, how old were you when you did it?
17, 18, 19,
Oh
20.
yeah.
Like, it's been a long time. Like people know me and been following me. Like they know the Dingo like love smoking weed and stuff. Even though the past 6 months, that's sort of I've gone like to the opposite end of the spectrum
Mm.
regarding like drug use.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's, um, but yeah. So and then when I first moved back to Australia, so I did 5 years in Thailand, and then I moved back to Australia for like a year, just over a year. When I moved back there, my mum was living in a place like a share house, and one of the guys was just a bong head, which was like perfect for me. I was like, sweet, I've got the weed. And that. But then the
That's
other
my
guy,
guy.
the other guy was a drug dealer, so he sold like coke, MDMA. Pretty much that was it. So then I'd never tried that stuff really before, and
How old were you?
this is when I was like 20. Yeah, done 5 years, 20.
Oh, and you just moved back to Australia.
Yeah, and I pretty much just started getting on those drugs, and that's when I started learning what a bender was, like going more than like two nights, 2 days, no sleep, partying or whatnot. And that's when I met a lot of boys, like sort of the people I attract because of who I am as a fighter and that. It's a lot of like, I guess you could say like gangsters and like drug dealers. So like that, I was just attracting all that, and then I didn't even pay for the drugs or anything. Like I was just always there, and it was like, oh, we're with the Dingo, we're partying with the Dingo. Have this line, have this pill, have this that. I was pretty much like a guinea pig, and I was just like, that's why I moved back to Thailand because it got too much. I was like falling down the rabbit hole bad with drugs and stuff. I was still fighting, but not best to my capabilities. Like losing fights I shouldn't have lost, and then I went back to Thailand for 2.5 years, Bangkok. I chilled out there, like, but I still went back to like smoking weed, and um, that's when like I had a. That's when I got introduced to like meth for the first time. Was I had this trainer. So I was like, my room in Bangkok, I was staying in the ghetto, like proper ghetto, Klong Toi, and like my room, like it only cost like probably like $100 a month. It was like this apartment, just ghetto as. You'd hear women getting beat up and stuff like in the other apartments, like children crying and like just heaps of shit going on
Mm.
inside. So my room was like out of the fighters, like the fun room. Like everyone who smoked, if they wanted to come and smoke ciggies or smoke a joint or like drink, they come to my room. Even the trainer, I had this trainer. He'd come and smoke ice in my room with his little like meth bong, and like he would every like pretty much every day he'd be like he'd be like, don't smoke weed. He'd be like, this one good. He's like training good, fucking good, and like just every day trying to convince me and my rush mate that would be there to do it. And then one day we're like, nah. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not touching that. And so one day anyway, my Russian mate is like, I want to try. And I'm like, fuck, you want to try it? I'm like, fuck it. I will do it once and that's it. And anyway, we kept sending this trainer off and back to get more and more and more. Smoked that much, bro. And then I was up for 4 nights, just no fucking, no training, just in my bed, just
Mm.
heart going crazy. Just 4 nights. I hated it. I hated it. Never wanted to do it again. But that was my first introduction to like meth as a drug, and I never wanted to do it again after I tried it. Um,
So it's like your coach in a sense. Like,
yeah.
did your coach get you into that?
Yeah, my trainer, bro. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Was there heaps of different ethnicities that were around you, or was it mainly Thai people?
Yeah, Thais, Russians, Uzbekistan, um, had like Portugal, like fuck, French, fuck, just
Yeah.
Ukrainian, but list goes on. German, Aussie, just list goes on. Yeah, it's just
And
like
pretty
a lot.
much everyone was on drugs as well. Like,
It depended. Like you had, it was weird. You had people who were like the fighters who were like addicted to sex and partying, like pretty much just like out every night partying, sex, drinking, maybe not taking drugs. Then you had all the fighters that were like on steroids, like cheating.
mm,
Um, then you had the ones like me. We just like smoked weed, maybe took magic mushrooms every now and then, chilled out because like the weed like kept you away from the party scene and stuff like that. And then you had like the people who were just like I remember I had a fighter, a mate. He used to just sit on his couch at home and just pop ecstasy. He used to fight on ecstasy. He actually fought Israel Adesanya in kickboxing in China on ecstasy. Um,
Did he win?
nah, nah. But like,
yeah.
Oh,
but
like,
like,
oh, I'm gonna hold that to Adesanya for the rest of his life. No, I'm joking. No.
and then you had, and then you had the ice and people on the meth, and then they fight on it too, especially. And then you had the people who
Yeah.
just did it all in one. So I was pretty much just like the weed smoker. Um, I go through my phases of like the sex sort of thing because that was just it was there. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Sometimes after a fight, you got a bit crazy and you just like fucking different
Need to
girls
release the
throughout
tension.
the
yeah.
day. Yeah, but it's just because it's on demand there. You can go a bit like lose your mind.
Yeah.
And I learned from the best. Oh, man.
Are there a lot of different ethnicity girls, females over there, or is
Yeah.
it like what's like?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the ones in Thailand, like you got like Russian prostitutes, Indian prostitutes, like all types of different like prostitutes,
Yeah.
like mainly Thais though.
Yeah.
And then you got all the chicks that are coming on holidays and stuff like that. He's Aussies, heaps of Europeans, sort of like Bali where I am now. But
Yeah.
yeah, you got everything, everything.
That's crazy. Because you had a Thai missus there, right? Was that the first time you were there or the second time?
Yeah, yeah. The first time I was there, I had a time missus. I wouldn't even like count that as like a real relationship. That was like my first like sort of girlfriend, but I wouldn't even really count it. It was more just like having company, someone to cook for me and
Mm.
stuff like that. We couldn't even talk to each other. So it was
Oh yeah, true.
it was like half Thai, half
um,
English, Tinglish.
so back to the addiction issues, I guess. Like, how has addiction like affected your career and personal life? Like, tell me the dark things and the good things, if there are any good things. I suppose there's highs and lows in everything, right? So
Yeah.
it might start off fun, but it gets dark over time.
I'd say like even with the weed and stuff like that, like as I said, it affected my weight cuts a lot. Which so what should have been like maybe a 5-6 kilo weight cut in a week turns into like 12 kilos in like a few days.
Mm.
My friend used to just be like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like, and I couldn't control it. I'd go home, smoke weed, like smoke so much weed that like it just twists my brain. I'm ordering fucking Uber Eats. They used to call me King Uber Eats, and I'm just ordering food after
I think I
food.
have that title now.
Oh.
And
No.
my weight would be going up to like 84, 86, and like I got to be 72 and a half or 70 like in 5 days.
Oh.
Like I'm doing crazy dumb shit, and it's just
Mm.
munchies. It's like, and then obviously my fitness affects my training because I didn't. It's affected it heaps. Like a lot of opportunities I've missed out on and stuff like that. My performances and stuff like even so for pretty much to get into it to how I went turned like it real bad is those last two fights that I had. Um, I was pretty much how do I put it? So I got into I had my comeback fight after 2 years off. So COVID happened. I was just stuck in Australia. I couldn't fight. I had 2 years off, And I was pretty much getting on drugs like every day. Like when that COVID payment would come in for everyone, and it was like $1,500, it was straight on drugs, weed, a lot of prescription drugs like Valium. I was eating a lot of Valium and Xanax and stuff like that, just running amok. And then I had my comeback fight versus James Honey. I won that, and then I had a big sort of issue where me and my it was pretty much my co-e, but I didn't go in my co-accused, but he took the blame for it. We got in a bit of a dilemma where we ended up sort of in a fight and beating up someone real bad that ended up being an informant. So he turned himself in because it was his sort of thing, but he didn't have to do that. He turned himself in and took the rap. He ended up getting locked up for 1.5 years for it, and like he had a family and everything. And I was hiding out in hotel rooms. The police were looking for me in my place, my gym where I worked. So I skipped to Early Beach, where my dad was. So I was really like on the run, skipped to Early Beach, and he took the rap for me and went to jail. And they were asking me who I was, where I was. They wanted statements. He didn't give up anything. So shout out to Chad for that, because yeah, like that he proper took the rap there, and he's out now, but his life's gone a bit spiral out of control after being in jail and stuff as well. Just because he said that I had a career and stuff like that, he's like, that was my thing. I'm gonna take the rap for it. Where if he involved me, he probably would have done less of time because I'm a pro fighter, and I would have got fucked for it, you know. But moved to Early Beach. I got in a relationship, like my first real relationship, like fell in love with this girl, and then 3 weeks like into it, I finally got a fight again, for the Australian title versus Matt Webb, and in 6 weeks I went from like zero to like fighter again. Um, Took back the Australian title, beat him pretty bad. He ended up retiring after, and then it was just like I was on the hunt for a fight for over a year, just pull out after pull out. I had a world title lined up with Liam Nolan for the WMO world title. Then ONE FC re-signed him and tried to poach the fight. And they offered me a terrible contract, and like I couldn't sign it. And even though it was my dream to fight on ONE FC, I had an attorney read over it. I couldn't sign it. Moved to Brisbane, sponsored like for this gym. That all fell to shit. So then that ended up really affecting my relationship, also because I couldn't fight as well. And I just sort of just started taking a really dark turn, like still doing the drugs, still pumping the prescriptions, um, doing really like terrible stuff. Ended up like being real like demonic in my relationship, sort of ADHD just kicking off, like started just going crazy, to be honest, and just pretty much having a mental breakdown. And my missus at the time was a nurse, and so she was sort of numb to seeing a lot of what was going on with me, and so I wasn't getting much like sympathy, or maybe say like I guess like she didn't really care. I felt so I was sort of just going deeper and deeper, like, and then I ended up doing terrible things with our relationship. I felt guilt with that, regret with that. I ended up retiring, as I sent you that yesterday. Showing that I announced my retirement. I felt like I couldn't fight anymore. And then, split up with her. Then I had my comeback fight with Charlie Barb, which was 2 weight classes above me. Nearly knocked him out with like no training. Training was absolutely no one. And then had a really bad concussion from that. Tried to kill myself in my car. Tried to off myself. Fucked that up. Just rode off my car. Lost my license. And all that stuff. And ended up in the psych ward, trying to like choke myself, stab myself, cut myself and all that stuff, and just went really downhill. And so leading up to those fights with like Cody and David, I pretty much was, and the fights prior with James Honey and stuff, I was training myself. So I was working in the mines, 12-hour days, 10, 12-hour days. I wake up at 4 a.m., train, running, and then after training I would train myself, go to the gym or fitness room and just train myself, get who I could to hold pads for me, get who I could to do this, go running, do everything myself. And it sort of just over time was just like building up on me. I was still having these sort of mental issues, but before the James Honey fight, I was clean for 17 weeks, and it was the longest I've been clean since I can remember, like since I was 17, off everything. And then I had to fight with Cody and David.
All right. Was that the first time
I,
you fought James Honey or the second?
the second time, yeah, the one that you came to. I was 17 weeks clean, and then I
Yeah,
think
you
what
looked
happened is
clean.
I got back. Yeah, I got back together with my ex, and then I started just smoking weed, getting comfortable again. We just went on another fucking tumble of just episodes, and then I ended up beating Cody. But during this time, I was smoking a lot of weed again. So leading up to the Cody fight, same thing. Like I ended up having to cut like 12 kilos in like 5 days instead of fucking what it should have been like 6 kilos. You know what I mean? And then I smoked weed the night before and the day of that Cody fight. Like I was smoking joints and stuff. And like Cody's a great fighter and stuff, but I should have knocked him out. And so that went 5 rounds, and I was like fucking gassing. And then I got to number 5 in the world. So pretty much all by myself, got to number 5 in the world. Still working and stuff, and just like smoking heaps of weed. And mind you, I'm working in the mines, so every day I'm risking a drug test, random drug test. And
So you're
so
working like 12-hour days in the mines and still fighting.
yeah,
That's pretty crazy. So wait, so who's belt like? So you got that off Cody, the
yeah,
WMO.
yeah. The one,
This one off James Honey.
yeah, the WBC one was that one, the Matt Webb. That
Oh, Matt Webb. Oh,
yeah.
crazy. God,
So
mate.
I was pretty much um I had Kamanu fly over, right? You know Kamanu, you met Kamanu,
Yeah.
and he's a big weed smoker as well. And I don't think he realized like how heavy I get into it if I did smoke weed. So he did come over with like a lot of weed from America, which and I was just like, oh. And what was meant to last like the whole trip, he was there. We smoked in like 2 nights.
Wow.
medicinal weed, by the way. Medicinal.
medicinal. And I was signed up to medicinal weed then as well, right? So
Yeah.
I smoked all his medicinal, and he's like, "Bro, you gotta order your medicinal." So I'm ordering his medicinal from my place. I'm still smoking that. I'm still smoking street weed. Um, he saw that I had dramas getting on the prescriptions like Valium and Xanax. One night after the Cody fight, he seen me fucking in full effect, like grabbing a knife in the kitchen, like putting it down my pants. And he's like, yo, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, no, this cunt just fucking gypped me for money, like, this drug dealer. I'm gonna go fucking fuck him up, like, find him. And he's like, no, what the fuck you doing? Like, get back to bed. He's like, have you been on, like, Xanax or Valium? I'm like, yeah, fuck, I've been pumping it. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what the
he did actually tell me about that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that sounds
yeah.
like a crazy story, cuz.
Yeah. So with the Cody fight, ended up rupturing my like Achilles. I hit because it was so cold. It was like winter, and we fought at like 2 a.m. and it was like an outside venue. I cracked his knee like I think it was round 3 or round 2, and
Yeah.
it like went through my shin and just ruptured my Achilles. So I felt it for the whole fight because I nearly had him done by leg kicks, but then I cracked his knee a few times and I was like, fuck, felt like my whole thing was gonna snap. So I couldn't run. I couldn't walk for a week. Kamani can testify that. I couldn't run. I couldn't kick the pads until the actual week of the fight till David. So I had 5 weeks till David. Pretty much 2 weeks couldn't train, and I couldn't work. So all I was doing was smoking weed, eating food, just putting on weight. Long story short, same thing with the weight cut. Fuck, ended up being like 12 kilos. and did the 4-man, had that fight with David, which ended up being like fight of the year. And I think people could sort of see, like, leading up those past like sort of year and a bit, and after my relationship went down and stuff like that, that I was sort of getting a bit red hot on social media, and I'd be posting a lot of stuff that eventually I would delete. And I was sort of being someone that I really wasn't, like doing fighter call outs, like bagging fighters out, sort of like going really heavy into it. Like someone that's not really who I am as a person at all. Like me and David, like we were friends, like we used to be sparring partners, and then all of a sudden, like I'm fucking making videos about him, like mocking him, and just getting sort of like demonic, I guess you could say, like just real evil. So I was all with Cody as well, and then if Cody sort of said something back, I'd be like, I'll be like full G up in the messages, like, bro, I'll fucking stab you at the weigh-ins, cunt, like if you keep talking when I'm talking shit as well. So I was sort of I was already turning down like a dark path, and then I lost the fight with David. Didn't get paid anything for it because it was a winner takes all, right? Sort of. Then I seen David.
That was a 4-man comp, eh?
It's a 4-man. Then we see David. He
Yeah.
went into the final. Sort of. He was worse off than me, right? And to see him have to go to the hospital and do brain scans after, I was like, because I know I hit him with some big punches, you know. I know David's got a hectic chin, just like me. Just because he's a really good fighter as well. Like he's had probably the same amount of fights as me. He's fought over Thailand and the world and stuff, and he used to fight at a heavier weight. So I knew that I hit him with some big shots, like right on the chin and that, and like he would have brushed it off like it was nothing. But I remember looking at him after our fight, like fuck, all that for nothing, like just. And he's got to go and get brain scans, and then I went back to Bowen. Kamani went back to Hawaii. So I'm dealing with this loss of my own in my apartment, just feeling like gutted. Couldn't give Kamano any money. Didn't have any money for myself. Just all this sort of shit going on, and everything else that happened, like my relationship and sort of trying to reach out to her because I had no one, and then her not really wanting much to do with me, especially after a loss. And boom, next thing you know, I turned to meth. And fuck, I just opened the doors, and I just opened the doors for these sort of like omens to like come in and just grab me and take control.
Yeah.
And that's when I started having really bad sleep paralysis and like really bad episodes like of sleeping where I just pretty much like I was getting like choked in my sleep and stuff, and like I'd wake up, I'd be in my room, fuck, some sort of demon would come in and just like boom, come right in my face. Then I wake up, but I'm still in my room again. Looks like I'm awake. I'm not. Boom, another one comes, and then it's like repeat after repeat. I was having these like episodes, and I remember I was sort of reached out to my mum at this stage, like saying like I had dabbled a bit with this. Not saying I was like addicted or anything, and her like concern wasn't like, oh my god, like you're on the meth. It was more like, oh, be careful. Like, my mum doesn't know much about drugs and stuff. You know what I mean? She's not like doesn't do drugs, nothing like that at all. But she's just like, ooh, she's like, be careful with that one. Like, I know like that's just an evil drug. Like, we've had a lot of people struggle in our family with it. It brings in like bad energy, bad spirits, and she's like, don't sleep with that pipe in your apartment. Like, make sure it's out. Like, so if I just removed the pipe, put it on the balcony, or I smashed it, chucked it out, I wouldn't have these dreams or anything. And then one night, like the pipe was obviously in the place. When it was getting real bad with the meth, and I was starting to like just go hard with it, like, and not give a fuck anymore. There's this one night, and I'm sleeping on my side. So usually when you have sleep paralysis, you get it when you're on your back. I used to get it in Thailand as well. It's a common thing. But I was sleeping on my side, and all of a sudden, like, I just sort of like wake up, but I'm still asleep. I can't move. I have this heaps of pressure and weight on me, and it just feels like someone's just stomping my head in, like,
Mm.
boom, 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 like it had like steel boots on, just going bang, 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 and my jaw's sinking in, the side of my head, my temple, my ear, everything's crunching. Like, it's like I can feel the pain. It's like so much pressure, so much pain, and just flashes of like red, purple, black, boom, 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 and it just went on for hours. And then this demonic like female voice just in my ear, like right up on my ear. So it's like someone's just pressured on me. I'm just getting whacked in the head, like boom, boom. Feeling all the pain as well, and just these colors, and then like just this, so scary. Like this demonic voice that's in my ear, like, yeah, you want to fucking play? Do you want to fucking play? Do you want to fucking? Pretty much like it wouldn't. It would say other things after it, but I couldn't get what it was saying. But it was pretty much like, do you want to fucking play around with this shit? Like, do you want to fucking like mess around? Do you want to keep
Mm.
going? And it, like, cause it went on for hours, and then I just eventually was just like, oh fuck it, you know, like come, like go. And this thing just just entered me, and I woke up. It was still in the night, and I remember just like looking around the room. It was like dark, and I was just like, huh. I was just like, fuck. Like that was the most horrific, terrifying, scary like experience ever. It was real. It was fucked up. And I was just like, huh, like, is that all? Like, that's it for me. Like, nothing scares me now. Like, nothing. Like, no fear of anything, death, no person. Like, just nothing. I was just like, just went back to sleep. Like, fuck, that's it for me. Like, nothing's gonna compare to that. And then, pretty much after that, I noticed my dog wouldn't sleep in the same room as me. he started like he started just having this really worried looking glare, just staring at me all the time, just real sad. That's when I started ending up in the hospital pretty much every fucking week, um, for like suicide, people calling up worried about me, or me putting myself into hospital to put myself to sleep. Was I'd be on my seventh night, no sleep. That's when I started missing out on work, and like going weeks with, I was on a swing then, going weeks without work. That's when I was like trying to OD and kill myself, especially on the GHB. So I started mixing the ice with the GHB, which is like what people call like G or fantasy, and it sort of it makes you not sketch out and stuff when you're on the ice. Like it just mellows you out, but one mil too much and you can drop and you can die. So I was having like, it got to a point where I'm having like 30 mils and stuff like that a day, trying to kill myself, and I'm still not dying, you know, still not ODing, still ending up in hospital, and like still not getting my stomach pumped, and still like. But that's when, after that night, that's when it started getting real evil, and all I could think about was death, death, death. Everything equaled death. It was just all I wanted to do was die. I was making a mockery of myself, like laughing, like just this is like the downfall, like just enjoying it, looking at myself in the mirror with like my face all skinny and my dark black under my eyes, and just laughing, just like, ah, you're a fucking joke. Like, look at you, like, um,
Mm.
losing like
Hey, it's
12
interesting.
kilos.
Hey,
Yeah,
how you talk about all this and the demonic possession and stuff and potential like spiritual warfare, because a lot of people that look at this, they don't look at it from like a spiritual perspective. I guess they always look at it from like, oh, substance abuse, which is part of the problem as well. But I feel like it's more, like when you're participating in high heavy drug use, you're pretty much opening the doors for some type of spiritual being to come in and haunt you. And it felt like, if you're talking about, all you're thinking of was death, it was like almost like a spirit of death that had come over you, which is interesting. I feel like a lot of people, when they're dealing with mental patients, they don't see it as a spiritual problem, so they don't look for spiritual answers, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
you go to the doctor and they tell you something, they obviously aren't going to pray for you or anything like that. They're going to give you
Mm.
some type of drug that's going to try and make you feel more normal. But I feel like it's a combination of both. I'm not saying go all full out and just pray and don't go to the hospital. Like, I feel like you need both. They work hand in hand. People need to acknowledge that it's also like a spiritual problem as well. And if you can pray for that at the same time as go get help, see a therapist, it's all a factor that plays in. But
Yo, what's up, fam? If you guys are liking the video so far,
please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my affiliate sponsor for this video today, StreamYard. They've been an incredible platform to use and interview my guests all the way in Bali in Indonesia. It's been a life-saving method, and it can replace Zoom, Skype. You can do video recording, you can do podcasting, live streaming, so many things in one. Don't just take my word for it. Test it out for yourselves. You can use my affiliate link in the description below, but you guys will get a 14-day free trial. Oh, and if you guys are keen on this sweet ass nice Pablo merch, it's my bro's brand. He actually painted this design for over a year, and now he's put it on merch as a limited edition drop. So if you guys want to get your sweet ass hands on some limited edition merch, I'll drop his Instagram in the link below and you can check it out for yourself. All right, much love, fam. Back to the video. Yo! Is him, but I feel like with everything that's going on with Ryan Garcia, you know, he's like a mad Christian athlete. Acknowledges Christ before all his conferences, but I feel like that's even more reason for the devil to attack him. You know, if the devil can make like a Christian guy look like a fool in front of the world, he's done his job. He's like the master of deception. You know how you were saying earlier how like you're just like laughing it off. It's like he was hiding behind your laughter when in reality you're just thinking about killing yourself.
Well, you were saying like you seen a video of me, like a video I made with that crack face emoji filter on Snapchat.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, like what was I saying?
So I seen a video of the dingo. It was actually a joke at the time. Funny thing is, right? Like, so it was a Snapchat filter. He filmed it and then and recorded it and sent it out. But at the time, it looks like you'd be looking at it as a joke, like it's all fun and games. But the scary thing was, it pretty much predicted his reality. Like it was like one fight away from becoming a world title. And he's like, "Oh, the Wesley beat me. You know, I was so close, but the Wesley beat me." And in a sense, like this demon, you know, you'd probably been possessed earlier than that at an earlier stage, but it's like he'd come into your life and then spoke it into existence. Like
Like
he used your
foreshadowed,
yeah,
like
yeah.
foreshadowing.
Like he used your body and spoke it into being and manifested all this demonic crap, and it all came true. Like, you know, like you were one fight off your world title fight, and you know, you're like, how many fights have you had? Like 50 something fights or something?
59. It was like I was on one fight before 60 fights. And
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and you predicted that as well. Like it was crazy. And it was like this evil demonic spirit speaking through you. And when I've seen that, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's like demonic ass. Like, I got like goosebumps all over my body. I'm getting goosebumps now. Like, oh, it was like weird as and the filter looked like you were just like some crackhead. It's like, oh my God, like seeing you like that as a cousin, you know, like I have a lot of respect and love for you. I was just like, oh my gosh, it was kind of sad, you know,
Yeah.
like and scary. And then I pretty much started praying, got heaps of people to pray for you, and you ended up coming through. And then you even ended up praying for yourself and getting a word from good old George Janko and Andrew Tate. Thank you, boys. Thank you,
yeah.
boys. Yeah, if you want to tell us more about that, that'd be interesting.
Well, you said because my mum was just here recently, which like was pretty tough. She came like she's finally saw me in like the midst of it, like really not just after I've been on a bender and come up to see me or something. She saw me and my little Balinese friend. He was like he's been really taking care of me and looking out for me, like knowing like you can't stop me. Like if I'm gonna, everyone's tried to help me. My ex, you know, friends, everyone's tried to help me. And my mom, they want to put me in the rehab. They want to do this, and I'm like, no, no, no. Like one thing I promised myself was that I beat it by myself. You know, like beat it on my own. That's who I am as a fighter. Like that was like the ego as well. Like I'm like, well, how are you gonna send me to rehab and just treat me like a normal person? Like this isn't, you know, like I'm I'm this guy. Like I can't just be in a room with 30 people, go in a circle talking about my problems. Like so even you said like my mom rocked up. I picked her up from the airport, and my Balinese mate's like, Jay, bro, like you're on night 9. You're nine nights, like no sleep. And my mom had tears in her eyes when I picked her up from the airport. And even you said, right, you're like, she said, like, it wasn't Jay. It didn't look like Jay. It was like it was
Yeah.
someone was controlling him. But when she came, it was like a big realization. And for some reason, I remember I was telling you, I'm like, I'm nearly over the hill. Something's gonna happen. Like for some reason, I could feel it like coming. Like I've been praying. People been praying for me. I've been sick of it. I was like, nah. I'm getting out of this. I'm gonna sort some shit out and get out of it. I was getting like, I was still getting high every day while she was there. She was here for 5 days, and it felt like 5 hours. And then I remember she left, and I was just like devastated, just like fucking, what have I done? Like I can't even remember her being here. Um, and then
Where
too
was
many
that? Was
things.
that in Bowen?
Yeah, it's in Bali. This is just like 2 weeks
Oh,
ago, guys.
Bali. Oh, true. That's all right.
And so I was just devastated, just like fuck. She's seen me in the midst of it. Like she's seeing it for what it is. Like there's no, like it's something was. I was out of control, and losing my mind pretty much. Lost my mind. But I knew I was for some reason I was about to get over the hill. Then one day, too many things clicked in one day. Like too many, like 5 different things that like were a big impact in my life. Just sort of boom, just happened at once. Even I don't really want to talk about like drug use too much in like the country I'm in right now, but you
Yeah.
could just say that you know that I came here clean, like probably 3 weeks clean, and to get away from it. You could
Yeah.
say that certain substance, day 2 that I was here, that I went and met with someone like we say it was like a Tinder match, right? And this certain
Yeah.
someone, we got like drunk, had prescription pills, which were like my sort of gateway to like doing whatever.
Yeah.
That was why Kamanu was concerned about me taking Valium and Xanax. Um, and this certain person had to connect. I'm not saying it's their fault or anything, but they had to connect. It was like a safe connection. This person comes into the hotel room. This certain substance is right in my face once again. Day 2 of being here. So it was
Crazy.
that's how I sort of was maybe or maybe not be doing something while I was here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not involved in any of that because it's fucking red hot. It's dangerous, and I didn't care for my life. I didn't care for what would happen to me. Didn't care about death. I didn't care about jail. I didn't care about any of it. I didn't care about any of the consequences. Um, it was all a joke for me. It was all a game. My life was a game.
Mm.
So everything clicked in this one day. I just woke up, cleaned everything up, got my Balinese made over. I'm like, let's clean this place up. Let's get the fucking rid of everything. And I'm like, I knew for a fact that I was never touching meth again. And here I am now. Um, it's been over 10 days. It's like 11, 12 days. But every time I've given up before, I'm like, oh, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe after a fight I'll try it, or if this happens, or if
Mm.
that happens, and a lot of bad shit happened while I've been here. Like, I lost out on $10,000 sponsorship, and I was meant to get 10 grand for every fight. I got replaced for my Dubai fight by James Honey, someone I beaten twice. I got replaced for my world title fight for David Penempede, and the promoter didn't even have the guts to call me up. He somehow got my mum's number and called her up to cancel it. Like real
Bro,
just
I
dog
think
shit.
that's actually crazy that you lost them 2 fights to people that you've pretty much, like, well, I was supposed to beat James Honey twice. But David Penapede, like, still, like, I'm like, bro, in a sense, you're like their first choice. Like, they only got offered it because, you went through your little
Mm.
episode.
And don't get me wrong, like I was trying to get better, and then that would happen, and then what? I went off on another episode. Like all that affected me. Now I don't care about it. I've already had my episodes regarding the fights.
Mm.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. But
So, what role has your faith played, like, in all this? And like, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
well,
sort of ask about that as well. Like, what's the what's your constant been, or like sort of like I know that you've looked at suicide and tried suicide, but before that stage, what was the thing that stopped you going that far, or the thing that you look to after like a massive bender and you're just like, what's going on? And you look back to something. What would you say that would be?
I would say, to be honest, a lot of it is like full blessing. Like full, I shouldn't be here. Like I should. Anyone else would have OD'd. Um, when I tried to write myself off in the car, like for example, my plan was to get on the highway and go full pedal into like a tree or a pole. I was so off my head that I didn't even turn my lights on. I'm in a dark street. I've just hit the pedal and I'm like, fuck, I can't even see. Smashed into a fence instead. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
full
yeah,
saved. Like, and that's from a like up here. Like I'm
yeah,
like, fuck, I've got a purpose here. I know I do, and I knew when I beat this, when I get through this, I'm like, I got to use my platform to share my story and help out because fuck, I get so many messages like every week from like young males, like young fighters, or just who look up to me, and they're like, bro, like you're the only one I'm telling this to, but like I have problems with suicide, like I've got drug addiction to coke or this or that,
yeah,
and I'm here trying to like give them advice and sort of save
yeah,
them, check up on them while I'm fighting for my own life,
yeah,
pretty much,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But
It sort of keeps
with
you
my faith,
accountable as well, eh?
yeah. So, but with my faith is that I know that it's been straight blessings that I'm here, like straight blessings. Like I know that I'm
He's
here
got a
for a
purpose
reason.
for you. You got a big calling
Yeah,
on your life.
Mm,
I've got a lot of people that look up to me, and I know that me coming up, that's what I was searching for, you know. And there's not a lot of good role models from young males
yeah,
in the world today,
yeah.
and with my
Do you
faith,
think that's
I
like one
do,
of the main downfalls, like for people getting into like all these crap?
yeah, for sure, and especially when they look at Instagram and like I think a lot of the reason these young lads are reaching out to me is because of how I kept it real on Instagram and like you see with what's going on with Ryan Garcia now. If I was 10.3 million followers and I was posting, like I was going through Ailey Beach 180 kilometers with a Bible, like at one stage on my stories, and I deleted it, but it was up for ages. And like, if I can imagine if I had 10.3 million followers, like
Yeah,
people would be like, what the fuck's going on? But a lot of people were concerned and were like, but the young guys were reaching out to me because at least I was being real about it. And I did come clean about my meth addiction in a long story at one stage as well. So I think at least I could see like, fuck, here's Jay Tonkin, that on paper everything looks amazing. He's got all these belts, he's got all his achievements, he's done this, he's done that, he's a great fighter. But he's gone through his shit. He's posting the dark days and sharing it instead of just being like, here I am, the champ. Because I know a lot of these fighters have dark days as well, but they don't share it. It's too much shame and they keep it to themselves. And it's just the shine, the glory, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Kind of like mental health is like often overlooked in the professional sports. Like, can you talk around the stigma surrounding mental health in the fighting community? Like for yourself, Ryan Garcia, we haven't seen Volk get pretty sad after getting knocked out by Islam. You know, like I feel like everyone looks at these guys as like invincible people. You know, like they're warriors, they're fighters, they're so tough. But like mentally, it's like surely it's got to have a toll on you at
Mm,
some point.
I
Um,
mean, get
hey,
when they get knocked out. You see like memes get made of these fighters when they get knocked out. And then it turns into like I don't know, I've seen, you know what I mean? Like people make fun of it. Like,
mm,
yeah,
like in this sport, like having a team and a strong support group is important, and that's something that I've lacked for like the past few years. You know what I mean? I've been like I got to world number 5 by myself, working in the mines. Like I didn't. That's what happened after the David fight. Is I come back home, and it's just me and my thoughts,
mm,
and it's like fuck. I don't have a trainer there to like guide me or a team
mm,
or gym to go back to, and they're like, "Oh, Jay, what's doing, bro? You're good," and stuff like
mm,
that. So with Ryan Garcia, like like I've only just started following people again recently. Like I was following 0 people, so I wasn't really like following him so much. But I watched a few videos on him, and this guy was saying it could be like spiritual warfare, mental breakdown, substance abuse, or pretty much all three. And I'm like, fuck!
yeah,
I've just come on the other side of
yeah,
this. It is all
yeah,
and then
yeah,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
gone on I've gone on his profile and I've seen that he's posted like videos with like his ex and pretty much been like who and people have commented on it like someone take bro's phone back, like what are you doing, bro? Like pretty much he's doing sort of, I guess you could say, like embarrassing things. But I was looking at that like fuck, I'm lucky I deleted all my stuff with my ex, all my photos and videos, because I would have for sure done some stuff like that off my head, you know what I mean? Like the
mm,
amount of times I called her up because I was gonna kill myself or something. She didn't come see me or stuff like that. It's just like, so I'm looking at it on his page, and then I'm seeing the 666 and like him sort of making a mockery of his death, and I'm sort of like, fuck, I just been here.
Yeah.
I'm
But
just like
From
isn't
the
it crazy? You know, when I was like watching Ryan Garcia go through all this stuff, you know, what it reminded me of was like you. I remember when it started on Christmas afternoon, and you just started like posting all that crap. You remember? Like, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, like what Ryan Garcia is going through now is pretty much like what I witnessed you go through not that long,
firsthand.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I already knew, you know, it was substance abuse. Cocaine's one hell of a drug. And it was, you know, demonic possession. Like he's posting about the devil, 666, posting about the spirit of death. Everything that he was doing was sort of like reminiscent of like what you had already done in a sense. It was like kind of eye opening and scary all at the same time.
and
Like
he could have gone harder on the drugs. Like he could be down an even more bad path. You know what I mean?
well, he's got a lot of money. So yeah. I wouldn't
Well, I mean,
surprise me what he's taking.
yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like meth is really like the demon drug. Like that's what my mum warned me about. It wasn't more so about like taking the drug, like it's bad for you. It was like be careful with what you're playing with. Like because
It
you
can
will
open the
fucking invite
door.
something in. Yeah, you will invite
Yeah.
something in that you don't want. And
Yeah.
I think I was just in such a dark place already. Like I was almost like wanting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like be careful what you wish for. And so I think pretty much what's going on with him is like he's put a lot of pressure on himself. I see him doing a lot of things. Like he's the only one that fought Javante Tank Davis, right?
Yeah.
It was like me when I fought Charlie Bob at a heavier weight. No one would fight
Yeah.
Charlie Bob, and he was going really good against Tank. Just like I knocked Charlie Bob down. I ended up getting stopped and getting smashed up. I didn't go down though, but like, and then he got stopped, you know. And I sort of see like a little similar, like little timeline where
Yeah.
he doesn't give a fuck about anything at the moment. No fear of who he fights. He's doing Demon Haney now, and he's still
His ego's on like a whole nother level, ain't it? Like he's like
yeah, and
he
he's
thinks he's a god almost.
exactly, and like it's sort of where I was going with like calling people out and like
Mm.
being real loud with my energy and just da da da
Yeah.
da and just fucking going crazy and yeah, it's pretty much I can just see that that's exactly what's going on with him. And
What would you like if you could suggest something to him, or like what would you suggest his first step be?
Yeah.
well, I'm sure he prays like he's Christian. Like I'm technically Catholic, right? But I would say I'm more like Christian. Like I'm not like a heavy Catholic. I've just been baptized in that. But
Yeah.
I noticed when I'd be like on the back, especially over here in Bali, on the back like training and stuff. If I forgot to pray for like 3 days, boom, I just get hit with it like again, like the thoughts. It was like I dream about smoking it. I dream about being back in Bowen and chasing it and doing all
Yeah.
the bad shit I was getting up to. And um,
It's
he's got
actually
to pray.
crazy that you say that. Right. Sorry, I'm jumping in heaps here now because I've been through similar things. You know, like I'll stop praying or something, not on purpose. Like I literally just forgotten, and then I'm wondering why my life's falling apart in multiple different areas, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then I'm like, oh, like I just haven't, you know, prayed in a while. I haven't given it to the higher being.
And it's not
Hey.
so much a religious. It's not so much a religious standpoint either, because the people watch this and go like, "Oh, he's fucking
Mm.
gone God crazy." It's not even like that. It's more like it's praying to your higher self. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like in Thailand, like Muay Thai, we seal the ring. We get rid of the evil
Yeah.
spirits. Um, in Thailand, everything, all the routes are like this, and they pray to get rid of the evil spirits. They pray for good luck. On
Yeah.
Monday, I think it is, on Monday here, on the 11th, there's a silent day. So Hinduism speak here, right? So you can't turn on the lights, you can't have on any electricity, everyone stays in their house and you've got to be silent. Because
Wow.
all these evil spirits are coming, right? And everyone's just there, just silent, just praying, and they don't want to let them in. Like that's literally
Yeah.
what's happening here on the 11th. Like it's called Silent Day. If you go outside, you'll get arrested and shit like that. Nothing's
Oh wow.
open. You got to get all your grocery meals before. So the thing is, like in Australia, like um, we don't do that unless you're like religious. You know what I mean? There's no. So that's why when I had the pipe in my house, like I wasn't. It was just my whole fucking apartment was probably just swarming with shit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm. Yeah.
because you're not getting rid of it
Crazy.
in all the other countries. Like, you are, and like they wear the amulet and like and stuff like that, and to rid of evil spirits. It's all about evil spirits in Southeast Asia and getting rid of them.
Mm.
So it's a real thing. It's just in the Western world, people have like become more atheist and like
I feel like they've become more about themselves, like they think they're the ultimate thing. I actually heard a
and
story about this lady doing witchcraft, and she like, like how people like pray or like the witchcraft, they like curse or do spells on other people or whatever.
Mm.
But when the other people would get together and they would pray, the witchcraft, she's not a witchcraft person anymore, but she said like they couldn't do anything. Like they couldn't actually curse anyone, they couldn't cast spells on anyone. When they were praying, it was like this shield had come up and they couldn't actually do anything. Like, I mean, I'm not big on religion either. I don't actually like religion, believe it or not. But I see it as a relationship. Like I see it as a relationship between you and your higher power.
yeah, it's your higher self. It's you're putting it out there like so it comes back. You know what I mean? If every day I'm there and I'm thinking about death, 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 soon, yeah, death will be at my doorstep. I will die.
Mm.
It's like,
Yeah.
and that's what I was getting scared of when I come out of these benders. I'm like, and come a bit on the straight and narrow, I'll be stressed now. Like, fuck, like I don't want to die. Like, fuck, I will die soon because I keep fucking playing with it. I keep fucking putting it out there. It's gonna come back. And then I'd be stressing out because I know my mom. I'm like, I'm killing my mom too. You know, my mom's old. She's like, I'm killing her with stress. And I'm like, I
Mm.
gotta fucking come out of this because next thing you know, like, God forbid, but you know, like, she'll be gone, and I've done it all. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I definitely
So
know what you mean.
yeah,
So
I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah.
how's things going at the moment? Like how you progressing with staying clean and just progressing forward, moving forward, different fights and that sort of thing, training.
Yeah, so I'm just pretty much, I know full heartedly in my soul and everything now, like I'll never touch that drug again. I mean, I could have anything else and it wouldn't even matter. It's just that the mess was just a whole different story, you know what I mean? Um, I'm in a country now and I did get warned by my Balinese friend and his uncle's in the police and that was one of the things that happened on that day as well. It was like, you got to stop. Like, the police are cracking down, shit's happening, like, they are they're closing the book, so there's no rules. They're taking whoever, sort of pretty much I got told, and so I'm in a country where it's dead illegal. You know, you get caught with like you get caught with half a joint, you can do 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Um, so there's that, and I'm feeling really good. Like I've got a whole new energy about me. Um, I promised myself this time, like I need to take my time coming back. I can't rush this because every time I've rushed it before, I've been in a rush that I've got to get back, I've got to fight. I've sort of crumbled. It's just like step by step. Um, I'm gonna like rebuild and rebrand the Dingo pretty much for what I stand for, and I'm about to design some new shirts up. I think it's gonna be easy. Before I had like the Dingo vest, everybody. Like I'm gonna continue with that, and just get back on track. I've been getting back into training slowly, like once a day, training people as well, just getting my love back for it. And then I'm looking at fights like I've got Thailand, I've got China, Japan connects, I've got Mexico. So I'm just looking for the right sort of one just to come back for, probably around
Mm.
like May, start of May, to be honest. So a good solid two
Yeah, that's
months.
cool. Do you have anyone
And
in mind who you want to like who you want your comeback fight to be against?
it's not really who I want to fight. It's more where and when, and just it's just about coming
Yeah.
back and fighting. It's not even a big deal because I need someone willing to fight me as well. That's always
I know
been
you've
a
had
problem.
trouble with that in the past.
Yeah, so um, just know that anyone that comes back to fight me now, like now I'm a whole different beast, like
Mm.
mentally.
Yeah.
Definitely. If I had no fear in the ring before, you can believe that I fucking got absolutely no fear now. Um, Especially with what I've been through and stuff. And I just knew that I had to beat this addiction on my own. Even though, of course, I had support from my family and um, a lot of friends turned their back on me. Boom, like, switched up on me, showed their true colors real quick. Um, a lot of people who have helped me have been like strangers I met along the way, who I'd say like full just blessings like from God on days where I thought I was gonna, that was it. I've run into these people, and they've literally like had me like stay in their hotel rooms and like fed me and looked after me and stuff like that. Um, so that's been pretty amazing as well. But
Yeah, you know, when you posted that story on your thing, in a sense, I felt like you were like crying out for help. And like the world's actually so twisted that like instead of seeing that as a cry out for help, they're just like, oh, they just write you off. The world's so fast to write you off straight
Mm.
away. Oh, he's failed. Oh, there goes his whole career. Oh, he's a nobody now. He's just wasted all his potential. He's flushed it down the drain. And the same thing with like Ryan Garcia. I feel like, you know, he starts posting all this stuff. Bro, that's just a kid crying out for help. But the
yeah,
world just like puts you down,
Mm.
like ridicules you, makes you feel even more worthless when they should be like, you know, there to support you, like, and understand what you're actually going through, but they just give you the cold shoulder.
I think as well like he really needs his family really needs to like because they've been a big part of his career like step in and be there for him because I saw one comment was from his father, I think, or something, and it was like, "Oh, he's just trolling the wrong way." So they're not taking it serious. It was sort of like we didn't even get into this, but my own father, like, I haven't heard from him in maybe 3 months. Um, he's like banned me from. I can't even talk to my. I've got a half sister, um, full to me, but she's half Thai, and she's 7 years old. Like, I can't even talk to her.
Mm.
He's totally like banished me. Well, that's how I feel, and turned his back
Yeah.
on me, and he's even given up on me, and so the only one who didn't was my mom. You know, like my mom was just she said she would love me unconditionally, no matter
Mm.
what. But like fuck, I just couldn't keep punishing her like this. That was killing me. That was eating me up inside as well.
Yeah.
It's such a selfish thing, like addiction, and I'm using her money or saying it's for this and getting that and just sort of just like being so like cruel and evil, but it wasn't me, if you know what I'm saying. Like
Mm. Yeah.
this drug, this being like had a hold of me, and it's just like it's fucking, it's just sad, bro. Like I guess in a way you could say I'll be an addict for the rest of my life. Like I'm always gonna like struggle with addiction and stuff like that. It's just about
Yeah.
every day fighting it, and now I feel like I've got a new
Mm.
reason. Now that especially I've come clean and um, I want to help. I want to help people and be honest and maybe sort of build a platform that really does help like young men, especially who are coming up and dealing with these problems as well, because it's a real evil world out there, especially with what's going on with everything on our phones and what's available
Yeah.
to kids right now on TikTok and with their swiping and the stuff they're seeing. It's just like it's not
So how
a.
do you want to use your platform for, um, you know, like to raise awareness about all this?
I'm still like, this is the first step right here, just getting it off my chest, coming clean, telling my story.
Mm.
I want to be more open like this, face to face with my viewers, and I'm still figuring.
Well, you're more than welcome to come on the show again.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a way to connect with people, and then also when I say like build a platform, that's something I'm still figuring out. Like, I want to build something that actually helps people, not like just go to rehab and just go do this and just go do that. That doesn't work for everyone. You know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
fighters. So that's something I'm still like figuring out, but I know I'll come up with. This is the first step to doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And also, I noticed you touched on your dad quickly, and like obviously at the start of the conversation, you're catching up with him in Thailand, and you know you went from being father and son to almost best mates, and now recently you've had a falling out. Like, do you want to regain that connection with your father?
Yeah, of course I would. I had a lot of hatred and anger towards him for like a long time. All that hatred and anger I felt towards everyone, even the people like my so-called brothers that have just sort of switched up on me and turned their back. That sort of just left my body. I don't have any anger or hatred towards
Mm.
anyone. Um, I know with
Cool.
my father, if I just get back in the ring and show that I've been clean and been pretty much been a good role model and a good brother to my sister, I'll be back in his life like that. And so I know that I
Yeah.
have to prove that myself anyway. I can say that
Mm.
like I feel like he's banished me and turned his back. I would have probably there would be ways that he could have supported me a bit more and stuff like that. But in saying that, what I was doing was pretty crazy and pretty fucking
Yeah.
pretty wild. So I don't blame him either. I guess
Yeah.
he's got a high
Yeah.
standard for me, and he knows who I can be as a person and how amazing I am as an athlete and a fighter. But as to being a human being, I was being a piece of shit, and just
Mm.
that's the reality of it. But also, like, I needed help. Like, I was crying out for help.
It's interesting because, like, obviously, you probably were being a piece of shit, but but it wasn't you. I feel
Mm.
like it was like the drugs talking. It was the mental health talking. It was the demonic spirits talking. And a lot of friends and family, they probably were so fast to write you off. But reality, you just needed help and therapy and the right people to surround you. So, after reflecting on your journey, what advice would you give to young fighters or individuals that are facing the same issue or similar issue?
I'd say first up, hit me up because I'm always got time for them and stuff like that
Mm.
on social media or whatever. Swing me a
That's
message
cool.
on Instagram and you can talk to me like one on one. That's number one because sometimes you just need to talk to someone that you don't even like know.
Yeah.
Like that's another big issue, and people don't want to go to like therapy and go to counseling. They don't want to. It was like me. I was just a lot of ego got involved. I didn't want. I wanted help, but I didn't want help at the same time. It was almost like I wanted someone to save me, but it was you can only save yourself, sort of thing. Um,
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
but I would say just know that like people who are having those dark days out there, like I did, like gone through. I've been struggling for years with this, and it all came to the last 6 months of my life has just been just frantic and just death, just a roller coaster of like just playing with my life. Um, so don't just. I'd say a good thing as well would be to stop looking at social media and just scrolling and just seeing
Mm.
everyone's perfect life because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such bullshit. And simple things like one thing I notice is that females, what they're good at is they know how to make themselves happy when they're like sad. Like they know to go for a walk. They know to go do this. They know to lie out in the sun and stuff like that. Where us,
Mm.
they know when to talk about with their friends and stuff. Where with
Yeah.
us, we don't talk about it with our mates. If we're sad, we're feeling dark, we'll lock ourselves inside and
Yeah.
we won't do anything. And we'll just fucking, maybe we'll get on the drugs or maybe we'll just fucking just curl up
Hide.
and just be in the dark room all day. You know what I mean?
Mm.
yeah, and that's not
So
good for anyone.
simple things. If you're a fighter, like go for a walk. You don't have to go for a run. Go for a walk. Like get some sun. Like
Mm.
when you're having these rules, because even simple things like that just helped me. I'd be going out on motorbike rides. That used to help at night, like late at night when there's no
Mm.
traffic. Just riding my motorbike with music, just like
Yeah.
like this is peace. Like this
Yeah.
is getting
Yeah.
that
I I
that.
notice that, like, a lot of times we're just bombarded with noise from everything, like, even just having music in your ears, like, there's if you go for a walk, instead of just having nothing and just, like, having a clear head, it's like music, music just blasting in your ears, and then, you stop, and then you're scrolling on social media, and then it's like your mind's just always busy, and you need that time to just go for a walk with no music and just hear yourself think. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. For sure, there's so much noise, like especially with these
yeah,
fucking phones. And it's just
yeah,
chitter chatter in your brain. Da, 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 da,
mm,
da, da.
yeah.
So you
It's always
definitely need
just
like,
feeding you, like,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
suppose it's not good for the mental.
and that's why like praying as well, like it can be meditation. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
It's the same sort
yeah,
of
Yeah,
thing. Just to clear your mind.
yeah,
clear mind, clear spirit, clear being. Hey, can you share a moment or experience where like that's been particularly transformative for you, or like eye opening for you? I guess like which made you like sort of like wake up to how much darkness you've been in recently. Well, yeah,
I think it was you, eh? It was when you sent me that video with the podcast of like Andrew Tate and George Chanko, and I know a lot of people don't like Andrew Tate and stuff, but they were talking about sort of like the evil in the world and praying and how that can help. And one person was Christian and one was Muslim, right? So
yeah,
Mm.
it didn't matter. And then how you were telling me how like you were getting everyone to pray for me and that you were praying for me real heavy. And I was like, fuck, I haven't prayed in ages. I forgot again. And it was pretty much there when I realized like the power was within me and what I was putting out to the world. And
yeah.
and that's when I just started the real fight, when I had like spiritual fight, where I was like, yeah, hang on a sec. Like I know I've been dealing with like substance abuse and drug addiction, but I was like, something's not right here. There's an imbalance.
There's
Like,
another level to it.
Mm.
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, I just sort of just went on this like mission, like the fight within myself. And that's like when I told you when my mum came that I knew I was still using it, but for some reason I knew I was over the hill. I was nearly there. I just didn't know what
Yeah.
it was, but I've been fighting within myself. I've been like praying, I've been talking, I've been saying it's nearly over, it's nearly over. Boom, wake up. Miracles just happened at once. And it was
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
boom, gone, vanished from my life, just like that. You know, when you hear people talk about like addiction and they say like one day they woke up and like that was it. I had one of those days because I just know. I haven't even thought about it. Like I couldn't even imagine touching that shit again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah. That's actually cool that like you prayed and then listened to that podcast as well. Like what specifically did you get out of that like made you um I guess like
Awaken.
hey?
Awaken.
It was
Yeah.
No.
it was also about how it was saying sort of taking responsibility and like having a pity party sort of thing and just being a bit like selfish and like why me mentality. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I sort of yes, it was like that. It was about taking responsibility and sort of like, well, fuck, I'm here now, and like I can't just keep blaming my past and blaming on my dad and how I grew up with him in Thailand. And I'm here right now. That's all happened. That's the past.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I put myself here. I'm the one that did it. I'm the one that picked it up. I'm the one that invited it all in. I'm the one that opened the door. I'm the one that fucked shit up with my ex. I'm the one
Mm.
that fucked shit up with my own career. I'm the one that keep fucking relapsing and making excuses for it. I'm the one making excuses. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That was the biggest thing that I took
Yeah.
from it, and I was like, "Fuck!" It was time to fucking man up. And if I want to get out of this, I got to get out of it fucking now because it's been 6 months that I've wasted. And you know, like I can't. The way it was like if I go on like this, I want to die. Like I don't want to end up being a
Yeah.
junkie. I don't want to end up being. I would rather die than keep living like this. It was just
Yeah.
became a real panic. I know that I was like playing with my life or whatever, but it was like if I keep doing this, I
Mm.
will want to die, like for sure. Like that will be the only option
Yeah.
because I
That's
don't
in.
want to live
Yeah.
like this. This isn't fun. This is stressful. This is like sad. This is like frantic. This is manic. It's depression. It's depressing. It's fucking horrible.
Mm.
Yeah. And I suppose when people first get into that, state, they're like, oh, I'm not going to become a crackhead. It's just a little dabble. I'm just going to do it once. And then boom, before they know it, they're hooked and they're addicted, but they're in denial. They're like, like, oh, no, I'm not addicted. No, it's not me. Like, and they're just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's just playing on their minds and they're blaming everyone else and nothing's their fault until you realize it's only you that's going to come and save yourself. No one else is going to fight for you. No one else is going to train for you.
Mm.
It's only you and your
Mm.
opponent in that ring. You
Yeah.
actually have to man up and take control of your own actions if you want to
Yeah.
thrive, let alone survive.
It's funny you say that because that's my number one advice I'd give to fighters. Like if I'd be in their corner or train them for a fight, I'd be like, bro, you got me in your corner, you got this guy in your corner, you know, we're the best fighters, whatever. It doesn't matter though. If you can't
Yeah.
go in there and back yourself, I can't fight for you. He can't fight for
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
can't go
I
in
like
there
that.
and back yourself and know that you've got your own back, there's nothing we can do. I can't fight for you.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so it's funny you say that. Like, it's my own advice just coming back at me.
Yeah. It's funny how that
Oi,
works.
that is cool. It's because we're blood cast. Great minds think alike. We're connected. Two Hui blood, two Hui warriors. It's interesting. Oh, and same as like Alexander Volkanovski. Like he's got the biggest belief in himself. Like he's so like sure of himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's taken him to like whole new levels. Like champions. I believe they're bred different. They think different. And you've got that same potential. Look at your three belts sitting on my desk.
It's
Like you've got the champion mindset. Obviously, like,
good to see them. It's good to see them.
hey, yeah, I'm taking good care of them, mate. No
Yeah,
one's
they look
breaking into
great.
this house. Yeah, I'll go on Muay Thai on them. But anyway, finally, I guess what message did you want to leave with your listeners, and especially those who may be struggling with their own battles. Yeah,
If you're down and out and you're struggling, just know that 2 weeks ago, I was I was on my 11th night, no sleep, wanting to die. You know what I mean? And here I am now. Like, there's a glow about me, a shine. And it was 6 months addicted to methamphetamine, and I'm Tonkin. I got to number 5 in the world by myself, 3-time Australian champion, all that bullshit. Lived in Thailand for 7 years. It's not the end of the road. That you can get better. You can fix yourself, and I hope that this will help a lot of people, and a lot of people will reach out to me. But also, I want to say that Tonkin, the Dingo, is back. He's all good. Everyone who sort of
yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Whoop whoop whoop
said I was a
whoop.
lost cause, turned their back. It's all good. No worries.
Yeah.
Don't blame you. So I'll be back fighting. Hopefully, the start of May. I'm looking at different fight opportunities. I'm gonna be coming out with new shirts, even like Muay Thai shorts and stuff. Rebuilding, rebranding, and just pretty much just doing what I was destined for and get everything that I deserve.
Yeah, bro. Upwards.
Yeah,
Upwards.
upwards
Let's
and
go.
onwards. Hey, upwards and onwards. I'm so excited that you're actually back and that you've come to a self realization, bro. It actually hurt me when I seen you go through all that because I seen all the potential you had, and it was just like it was disappearing. So I'm so excited you're back, and got a lot of
Through
faith
the
in
other
you,
side,
cuz.
eh?
Yeah,
Got
you're gonna
through.
smash it. This is gonna turn into a WBC World Champion belt, WMO World Champion belt. Eruption, sad story. They're not in the international league yet, but that'll turn into the what is it, the some other world champion belt, UFC probably. Who knows? The sky's the limit, eh, cuz? Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, well, we're really glad to have you on the show. I'm sure our guests will be keen to hear from you in the future. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask us, or if you're happy to see Jay come on the podcast again in future, and talk about other things to do with fighters, their skill sets, obviously all the trauma they go through as well, like things that don't necessarily get talked about in the media. Any questions you may think of, please send them through. We might even do a poll. Me and the Dingo might do a poll about this as well, and we'll see how we go. So just want to thank my co-host Chandu for coming on as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and asking some good questions. This is our first podcast, so I'm glad that you guys got to experience this with us. And eventually, me and Chandu will be introducing ourselves to you guys and sharing our own stories. So stay tuned for that one. And we've got plenty of more exciting guests to come on the show as well. So we've got a busy future ahead. We're hopefully going to start doing videos consistently. How consistently? We're not quite sure yet.
Let's not put a cap on that
Yeah, we're
or a
not.
limit.
We don't want to cap that. So, but
Every year, I think
yeah,
is
once a
enough.
year at least. So, nah. So we'll definitely get some more videos popping for you. So thank you for tuning in, and I guess from us and the Dingo, we'll see
Yeah.
you on the next one.
Yeah.
Yo, peace. Boom. Much
Uh,
love.
fuck yeah.